right now is Tennessee Senator sitting on the Judiciary and Armed Services Committees, Marsha Blackburn. And Senator, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good to see you. Thank you.
What about this resolution that Nancy Pelosi is pushing forward to limit the president's power? And of course, about the new threats coming out of Iran. Tell us how you see the most recent developments, latest.
I will. With the resolution, I think this is something we should have expected from Nancy Pelosi. It is something that they're going to push forward on. They do not like anything that Donald Trump does. So this makes kind of sense for them to do this. Also, it helps them to divert attention from talking about impeachment and why they're not sending the impeachment articles over to the Senate, why they're sitting on them after they had said this is so urgent, we have to do it now, we have to rush the process, and then they're totally quiet. It's crickets. So I would have expected that. When you hear these threats coming from Iran and the bluster and the talk that is there, I think what we have to realize is Soleimani was their mastermind. This is a guy that for 2 decades he had pushed forward, built the Quds Force, had about 20,000 people in it. He's got a cyber unit, a finance unit, a political unit. And he had been responsible for killing hundreds of Americans, 603, from 03 to 11. He was in Iraq to work with his number 2, al-Mohandes, and they were working on the protests that had taken place at the embassy. We knew that they were there to attack our diplomats. They harass our diplomats. They humiliate our soldiers. They kill our...
Is there any way that Nancy Pelosi's resolution will, in fact, limit the president's powers?
I don't think that, of course, under the War Powers Act, you have those actions that go back into what happened with the Vietnam War, Maria. But I think what she is doing, this is a messaging bill for her. She needs a diversion because they are not sending those impeachment articles. So this is her diversion. But I have talked to so many people that are veterans, that are in military service, people at Fort Campbell, they're in Tennessee, Tennesseans who have served, people on my staff who have served. Everybody says Soleimani should have been taken out long ago. He has been, we know he's carried out attacks on
we've shown a graphic while you were talking. Actually, we've been showing a graphic while you've been speaking, Senator, about his reign of terror. And we know that he's got blood on his hands for at least 600 Americans, but way beyond that. In terms of the impeachment impasse, though, we've got new information this morning on that as well, because former National Security Advisor John Bolton yesterday said that he will testify in a Senate trial against President Trump should he be subpoenaed. Now, Texas Congressman John Ratcliffe was with me this weekend on Sunday Morning Futures over on Fox News. I asked him about potentially defending the president in an upcoming trial. We are expecting John Ratcliffe to be one of the key representations for the president. Here's what he said. Congressman, will you be representing the president in an impeachment trial?
Well, I don't think the president and White House counsel have made any final decisions about a Senate defense team, because we don't even know if there's going to be a Senate trial. I can tell you this, is I've had discussions about being a resource in whatever way can be allowed and authorized to do that. This was an unconstitutional impeachment. It was an assault on due process. It was an assault on the separation of powers. So anything I can do to uphold my obligation to defend the Constitution, limit the damage that the Democrats have done, I'm certainly prepared and willing to do that.
So Senator, I am expecting John Ratcliffe to be one of the representatives for the president. But he, along with Lindsey Graham, said that you all will follow the Clinton rules, whereas you will have both sides present their, their presentations. Maybe it'll be Adam Schiff on the Democrat side, and John Ratcliffe and Pat Cipollone, the White House counsel, on the president's side. And then at that time, after the presentations and after all the senators ask the questions that they want, at that time they'll decide about witnesses. What's going on with John Bolton? Why would he come out and say, yes, I'll testify if I'm subpoenaed?
Well, I think we have to realize that this is completely meaningless unless Nancy Pelosi sends those articles over to the Senate. And you're exactly right. The process would begin, the trial would begin, we would hear the arguments, and then there would be a decision about witnesses, whether or not to call witnesses or if we wanted to dismiss.
Yeah, but Senator, you don't even have the articles yet. And Senator Lindsey Graham Sunday said to me, look, if she doesn't send them over in the next couple of days, we're going to move to change the rules. He's going to work with Mitch McConnell to say, look, we are just going to assume that this president is impeached, that everything has gone the way that it goes, and we are assuming that we should start the trial. And then perhaps I understand there will be a file to dismiss. But can you change the rules so easily?
I think that we could vote to change the rules, and you would probably see people vote. Look, you've got to realize when I am out across Tennessee, as I was Thursday, Friday, and Sunday and Monday, Maria, people are tired of this.
Yeah.
They want us taking that vote on the USMCA. The Japan agreement has gone into effect. That is good for Tennessee and America. People want to see more judges on the federal bench. They are tired of this. They look at what Pelosi has done as a partisan impeachment. If it were so urgent, she would have sent those things immediately, and we would already be into this process. She has proven to the American people it is a partisan political exercise in their opinion.
You're expecting to mark up the USMCA bill today? Tell me about that. Are we looking at this going on the fast track for passage? You heard it here first. I spoke with White House Trade Advisor Peter Navarro on Sunday Morning Futures. He predicted it would be put up for a vote this week. Listen to this. Got to get your reaction.
Yeah.
The backdrop looks strong. What are your expectations in terms of USMCA?
We're going to get that passed as early as Friday or Monday. Here's how it works out. My good friend Senator Grassley is going to mark this bill up on Tuesday in the Finance Committee. Once it's marked up, Leader McConnell will then have the opportunity to put it on the floor. And the beauty, Maria, of fast-track legislation is that it's a maximum of 20 hours once it goes to the floor for the vote. We've got a large bipartisan support in the Senate, so possibly this week we could actually do some great people's business.
Wow, so what you're saying is you think this could head to the president's desk within a week?
It absolutely could.
Senator, you agree with that?
I would love to see that happen, and I can tell you I know a lot of people who would love to see that happen. They've waited on this for over a year.
Do you think it'll pass this Friday?
I think that we will see what happens as Senator Grassley takes it in Finance Committee. There are other committees that have a piece of this for review. We will see how that is going to proceed. In my opinion, the earlier, the better, because we bring some certainty. Think about this. Look at what Donald Trump has done. Japan went into effect January 1, and we thank former Ambassador Haggerty for that. You have now got USMCA ready to go to the Senate and get marked up, get to the floor and the president's desk. And then you have the China agreement, the first tier, to be signed on January 15th.
Right.
That is progress. That is certainty for farmers, producers, manufacturers. We want to get these deals done.
All right. We will leave it there, and we'll certainly be watching the progress. Senator, good to see you this morning. Thanks so much.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Senator Marsha Blackburn.